Seated. Lovely to see everyone. I'll stay seated for a little while, just in case anybody joins us and I don't have to jump up. But if you want to start lying down tonight, you can have your feet on the floor, you can lie outstretched, whatever is most comfortable. I can see a variety of leg positions going on. And if you need to move, if the low back feels tight, feel free to bring your knees towards your chest and have a little movement. Yeah, whatever that you need to be done before you feel comfortable. Lovely. And let's just give ourselves a little bit of almost decompression time to arrive at our practice today. And it's difficult, isn't it, when we're, so many of us working from home or we're at home more, perhaps just going into another room to do our yoga practice. And whilst that might be very convenient, I think sometimes it's hard then to kind of make that switch, that mental shift. Some of us might do it usually driving home. We might do it walking back from the office, or having that little bit of downtime between work and then our yoga practice or whatever activities we do. And maybe that time has been kind of stolen away from us. So let's just give ourselves a little bit of time to let go of the week. Closing the eyes. And just reminding ourselves of that lovely quote by Jon Kabat-Zinn that I read earlier in the week. Give yourself permission to allow this moment to be exactly as it is and allow yourself to be exactly as you are. So whatever you're bringing to the practice tonight, whatever tensions you might be holding, just kind of acknowledge that. It doesn't matter, we'll see if we can work on that throughout the practice, but kind of just allowing everything to settle. And we'll start with a very simple breath-based exercise just to bring us into ourselves, just to begin to bring us into our bodies, away from the week, out of our heads and into our bodies. So just have the arms gently rested alongside you on the floor with the palms facing up and the fingers soft. And as you take your next inhale, notice where you feel that inhale the most keenly, maybe in your chest, your belly, maybe in your throat. It's wherever you feel that in your body. So on your next inhale, just bring your breath into that space where you feel it most keenly. And as you exhale, visualize that breath traveling down both arms and into the palms of your hands. So breathing into wherever you feel the breath. And breathing out the breath traveling down the arms into the palms of your hands. After your next inhale, exhale, the breath travels down the arms, this time to the tip of your thumb. Inhaling into your chest, your belly or your throat. And exhaling, the breath travels down both arms, this time to the tip of your first finger. And feeling that next inhale, swell the belly, lifting the chest, and exhaling, traveling down the arms, this time to the tip of your middle finger. Inhaling slowly and deeply. And exhaling, sending the breath down both arms to the tip of your ring finger. Just one more deep, slow inhale. And exhaling, the breath traveling down both arms to the tip of your little finger. And then just allow your thumb and your first finger to touch very gently, as though there's a feather or a piece of silk between the fingertips there. Udgana Mudra. You quite often see this on statues. The Buddha, that's mudra of connectedness, of wholeness. So continuing with that flowing rhythm of your breath now. Just feeling that gentle touch your thumb and your first finger. The rest of the fingers soft, back of the hands just resting easily on the floor. And just acknowledging whatever's going on, allowing yourself to be in this moment exactly as you are. And just releasing that mudra and give the fingers just a little wiggle, very gently. Lovely. And then we'll keep the hands just resting down the sides of the body. A little bit for the upper body, so we'll keep ourselves lying on the floor so we get a sense of what's going on, perhaps a little bit more keenly in the upper body. So we'll start by shrugging the shoulders up towards the ears. And if you can, turn the palms to face inwards so you're balanced on the outer edge of the little finger. So the shoulders are rolling slightly inwards. And then slide the shoulders down the back, turning the palms up towards the ceiling and lengthening the fingertips, kind of slightly out on the diagonal away from you. So as you inhale, we shrug the shoulders and we turn the palms inwards, sliding on the blade of the little finger, and then exhaling, turning the palms up towards the ceiling and sliding the arms away from you, shoulders away from ears. So we'll do that just a few more times. So we're almost inviting tension in, scrunching up the shoulders as you inhale. And get that sense of really lengthening the neck. You might almost feel the shoulder blades sliding down as though towards your back pockets. Lovely. Let's do that just a couple more times. So really get the sense of opening through the chest, so the arms are a little bit away from you in a gentle V. And the next time that you've just taken the arms down and away from you, so the palms are up towards the ceiling, we should just rest for a moment in that sense of space across the chest. And if your legs are outstretched, just bend your knees, walking your feet not too close to your bottom, keep a little bit of space there, and we'll take the feet just to the outer edges of your mat. Coming into our wide leg twist to begin to ease into the spine, allowing the knees just to tip to the right. And just pause there for a moment, seeing how that feels. You can always just slide your feet a little closer in towards one another if that's too much, if the feet too far away, if that pulls on the inner knees. Maybe picking up your head and continuing to bring that movement into your upper spine by just turning to the left, knees to the right, gaze just over the opposite shoulder, chin to shoulder. And then the head and the knees come back to center, and then we change direction. So just allow the knees just to tumble to the left first of all, tip them down. And then with control, with precision, we pick up the head and just allow again that movement to come up a little higher. One side might feel a little stiffer than the other. Again, not forgetting that the shoulders are away from the ears and the chest is open. And then we'll just move with the breath. So as you inhale, we come back to center. And exhale, we'll just start to tip the knees from side to side, maybe taking that little turn of the head, being conscious of the shoulders staying away from the ears, the chest staying open. So you just do that a few times. You can always just slide the arms up shoulder height, or something I like to do, my shoulders feel okay today, is just bring the arms above the head, resting one hand on top of the other. So I'm getting a stretch into my armpits there, and I can kind of feel that more keenly in my hip. And if you want to bring your hips into it, you just press your hips forwards. So you're pushing your hips in the same direction as your knees. So you might feel that again just begins to bring that nice sense of stretch across the top hip. So we really are very much in charge of what we're doing. Let's do that one more over to the right side. And then one more over to the left side. And then we'll bring the knees and the gaze back through center. Walk the feet hip width apart, and this time the heels come a little closer to the bottom. And if, like me, you've got your arms overhead, we'll just bring the arms up and over and scoop that right knee in towards the chest, and take a moment there holding behind the knee if the knee is tender, or just around the front of the knee. Take a moment there to again just slide the shoulders down away from the ears, just as we did at the beginning, that sensation of drawing them down into your back pocket. And just keeping the right hand on the knee, the left hand might want to come onto your left hip. Just have a few circles there with that right knee. Just guiding the knee round. It might be a big circle, it might be a little smaller today. Whatever direction feels good. Lovely. And then we'll bring the knee back into the chest, holding on just around the back of the thighs, you extend that leg up towards the ceiling, a little hamstring stretch again, checking in with shoulders, checking in with face, and have a few easy turns through the foot there. A few turns through the ankle. Might be some clicks and crunches. It's a little bit cooler today, so the joints might complain a little bit. And then we'll just stretch the heel up towards the ceiling. You might feel the back of the knee begin to open as the leg pushes away from you. And then just point the toes softly, stretching through the front of the ankle, the back of the ankle. So we flex the foot, pull the toes towards your face. And then that soft pointing again. Let's not just be too hectic with those movements tonight. And then keeping the foot soft, just bring your right hand down to the floor alongside you, palm up. And using that left hand on the outside of the leg, we just draw that right leg across the body. So the right buttock might lift a little bit from the floor, but we're keeping that right knee more or less pointed up towards the ceiling. So it's not a great deal of stretch too much too soon, and the muscles kind of tighten there. So let's take it really gently there, just stretching. If you want a little bit more, you just push the heel a little bit more energetically away from you on that extended leg. Lovely, we'll come back through center. And this time, just bending the right elbow so the hand is there ready to catch that leg from the underneath as you allow it just to roll out to the side this time. So I'm just going to hold around my knee. And you can allow that left leg just to roll open. So you've got an inner thigh stretch, but only one leg is extended. So it's much kinder on the lower back. Stretching that leg away from you. And again, if you want to make it more energetic, you just pull the toes of that right foot back towards your face so the heel is pushing a little bit more strongly away from you. Again, checking in with shoulders, checking in with face. And then we'll come all the way back through center, keeping the left foot on the floor, back up to the ceiling with that right leg. And then if it's there for you tonight, you might walk your hands up a little higher, lifting your head up, nose towards the knee, shoulders away from ears, and the elbows tucked in towards the right leg. And keeping the chin just drop down towards the chest, we'll maybe extend that left leg just so the heel hovers off the floor. You can always rest that heel down if that's better for you. Lovely. And then walking your hands down, lowering the head down, and bringing that right knee in towards your chest. And let's stretch the left leg out long if you've not done so already, toes pointed up towards the ceiling. So lots of options here. You can either catch hold underneath that right knee and just bring that right knee down towards your armpit a little bit. You can even hold around the front of the knee if that works for you. So we're getting a little bit of stretch across the hips, making sure that that left foot doesn't roll out to the left, so keep the toes up towards the ceiling. Or if it's available, you might lift yourself up, taking hold of the inner or outer edge of the foot, coming into a single-legged happy baby. So the shin is perpendicular to the floor, sole of the foot up towards the ceiling, and we're drawing that knee down towards your kind of outer ribs, armpit there. And some hips really don't like that, so that knee just dropping down towards the outside of the body is always a nice alternative there. And I'm just going to bring my hand onto my left hip, just so I'm not rolling over towards my right side. We'll just take a couple of breaths there, breathing some space into the hips. Again, they can get quite tight in the space for a week, can't they? Or maybe that's just me. And very, very slowly, we'll just bend that right knee, slide the left knee in, so both knees are in towards the chest. And just have a little circle with the knees. The knees might be together. You might want to do it wide-legged again, just kind of intuitively move the knees so you can release the back and the hips. And then we'll just try that little sequence with the left leg. So this time the right foot comes down to the floor. Giving that left knee a little squeeze in to start with. So my knee always kind of wants to drop out towards my armpit just a little bit. My hips must like that stretch. So I'm going to let that be what it is for you. And then just keeping the left hand on the knee this time. Right hand might just come to the hip. Let's just take a few easy circles there. So again, one side might present itself with a little bit more tightness than the other. Lovely. Whichever direction seems to work best there. And then when the knee comes in the next time, let's take hold underneath around the back of the leg, just support the thighs. So as you take that leg up, there's no need for that left leg to be straight to start with as you circle off through the foot. Maybe bring a little bit of movement into the toes, spreading them as you circle the foot a few times each way. Making sure, again, shoulders haven't crept up around the ears. And then as you begin to stretch the heel away from you, you might feel that the back of the leg begins to open. The knee begins to stretch. And then we softly point the foot so the front of the ankle gets a nice stretch. So flexing the foot, feeling a stretch in the Achilles, down to the calf, and then around the front of the ankle. And then again, we just let that foot become a little bit looser. Left hand just rests down on the floor again, palm up, and the right hand guides that leg across the body. So trying to keep that right leg more or less where it is. Again, remembering that you can push the heel away from you more energetically, and you get that stretch down this TFL band, this muscle that runs kind of down the length of the body. It can get quite tight and sore. You might feel it when you next get to have a massage, whenever that is. And then we'll bring the leg back to center. I'm just going to prop myself up on my left elbow. So as that leg opens now to the side, I can catch it underneath and maybe allow that right knee just to roll open. Again, more energetic amongst you might push that heel away from you a little bit more strongly. And try and keep a little evenness across your low back. I can feel I'm beginning to lean into my left side. So just sense that weight dropping evenly through both sit bones there. Lovely, and then we'll come all the way back through center. And you can just stay there, holding around the back of the thigh, particularly if hamstrings feel tight tonight. Or without introducing tension to the upper body, we walk up a little higher, bringing nose towards knee, elbows hugged in, shoulders away from ears. And you can extend that right leg. The heel might hover, you can rest the heel on the floor there. Lovely, so stretching the heels away from you. And then we'll lower that right leg. Lower the head and the shoulders, springing that left knee into the chest. And all of those options again, so making sure that the right foot stays pointed up towards the ceiling. We can just bring that left knee down towards the side of the body without rolling too much to the left side. You can hold behind the knee, or again, finding that half happy baby. If you hold the inside of the foot, notice that your shoulder tends to be more inwardly rotated. So if you want a more open shoulder, and you can, if you hold the outside of the foot, your shoulder tends to be a little bit more spacious and open as you take that leg up towards the ceiling. But if that offers you more of a hip stretch, then go for that. But just being aware sometimes of those kind of subtle adjustments that we can make in a pose. We think about this as being in our hips, so our knee is coming down towards our left armpit and the sole of the foot up towards the ceiling if you're taking happy baby. But it also has an effect on the shoulder. Let's just take a couple of breaths there again. As you begin to kind of release into the hip, that right foot might start to roll open. So just bring your awareness down to that right foot. Lovely. And then slowly, let's all just release the foot if you're unhappy baby. Bring that knee to your chest, slide that right heel in and bring the right knee in. And again, whatever movement, might be a little circle, it might be taking the knees wide, so you're doing a nice easy breaststroke. I'm going to find our way up to seated. So if you're feeling that you really are super chilled tonight, you just want to take it easy, we roll onto one side and then push ourselves up. A little bit more fuel in the tank, you might hold behind your knees. Now roll up, you can do that a few times if that feels nice. A little massage through the spine. And then we'll all come to seated. And this is when, if you have got tight hips and you've got a little cushion or a block, if you pop it just underneath your sit post, you're sitting kind of towards the front of your cushion. You find that sometimes you're a little bit like that when you're seated. Just by elevating your hips a little bit, just drops you can see it kind of drops my pelvis forward, so it helps keep my spine nice and upright. So entirely up to you. And remember that cross-legged is never compulsory. Lovely. So let's work on these shoulders and upper body for a moment. So taking both arms up towards the ceiling, really get that sense of dropping the shoulders. So you might like to take the arms up in a little wide V shape, take an inhale. And as you exhale, push the palms away from you. And make that quite strong as you're trying to push into the walls, lovely. And then inhaling, turning the palms up, a little softness as you take the arms up, Lovely. And as you exhale again, that pushing the palms quite strongly away from you, so we're engaging those muscles of the back. Lovely, waking them up a little bit, inhaling up. Sometimes we find tightness there because the muscles are quite weak and they get overtired, so a little bit of strength as well as stretch and release. Last time, all the way up. So this time we'll hold the arms out, just level with the shoulders, palms up towards us, fingers up towards the ceiling, palms pushing away. Lovely. And keep again pushing the palms away from you. But begin now to just lengthen fingertips out to the sides of the room and then turn them down towards the floor and even maybe curl the fingers in towards the palms. So you're getting stretch across the top of the wrists this time. And then slowly we come back the way we came. So lengthen the arms out, fingertips reaching to the side wall and then stretching the palms up towards the ceiling. Lovely. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, let's start a little side stretch. Right arm down, left arm up. And keep a nice softness there. So inhaling up. It's almost like that yin-yang symbol, like a little softness through the elbows as you just take a tick-tock. I'm going to suggest taking the gaze down towards the floor. I'll keep looking forwards just so I can see everybody. But if you turn the gaze down instantly, it helps ground us and also takes pressure off the neck and the shoulders. So you're just looking down towards the knee that you're heading towards. Let's do one more over to the right side. Lovely. And then one more over to the left side. Lovely. And then we'll come all the way back through center. Interlacing the hands this time, and just push the palms forwards. And then taking the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Drop the chin down towards the chest and just cup your hands around the base of the skull there. You might even free up your thumbs, so your thumbs stretch down your neck. And then lifting the chin, just parallel to the floor there, broaden across the chest, slide the shoulders away from the ears. And that might be enough, just gently pushing your head into your hands and widening through the elbows to get a nice stretch across the chest, especially if you've spent a lot of time slumped over a computer. Some of you might even be able to lift your chin a little bit. Keep widening the elbows there, nice broad chest. Beautiful. So you're gazing up into a lovely blue sky. That'll come next week, I'm sure. And then drop the chin down to the chest and continue now just to bring a little rounding through the back, navel to spine, elbows drawing towards one another. It's like that brace position you hope to God you'll never have to use on an aeroplane. Just pause there, getting that nice sense of rounding. You might even use your thumbs for a little bit of a massage around the base of your skull, into the neck. Oh, that should feel quite nice. And then we'll do that once more. So just lifting the chin, always really slowly with these moves. We lift the chin, broadening through the chest, drawing the elbows back, pushing the head into the hands. That might be enough. Or again, we get that little elevation of the chest, drop the head back, and we're supporting that heavy weight of the head with the hands. And then last time, elbows draw in towards one another, little leaning back towards the back of your pelvis, navel to spine. So there's a little bit of rounding through the back there. And again, that little massage of your neck with your thumbs if you wish. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly lifting the chin and releasing the head. Give the shoulders a little shimmy. Lovely. And then just the right arm will take up towards the ceiling there. And bending the elbow, try and bring your fingertips either just onto your shoulder, or you might even be able to bring your fingertips just onto the back of your shoulder there. And the other hand, the left hand, just begin to stroke upwards. So you're almost trying to take that elbow up towards the ceiling. Keep the chin lifted. Lovely. So a little tricep stretch there. So that might be enough just to continue holding and supporting around the tricep, the upper arm. You might bring the arm overhead and gently draw the elbow slightly back. Some of you might be able to reach that left arm back behind you and catch hold of your fingertips. Sometimes if you lean forwards and then draw the body upright, you might get that catch. If that doesn't work for you, then keep the hand just supporting on your forearm there. If, like me, you've done that little bind, the elbows now try and pull in opposite directions, north and south, and we'll keep the chin lifted. So it's cow face arms. Yeah, so you should feel quite a nice stretch going on through that right side of the body and into your arm. Lovely. If you've got that bind, very gently release. And we'll just extend that right arm in front of you now, thumb up towards the ceiling. Draw the arm across the body. You're going to catch either lower arm, or I like just to support on the upper arm, shoulder away from ear, and try and keep that right arm relatively straight so we're not bending the arm there. Lovely, getting a nice stretch. Just make sure that the body hasn't followed, so square up through the chest and the hips, so we're getting a stretch across the back of the shoulder. Drop the shoulder. Lovely. And then releasing. And last one, we take that right arm back behind you, catching the wrist with that left hand, and we'll draw that right arm behind you towards your left waist. Yeah, beautiful. So make sure that the body again hasn't followed, and we'll drop left ear towards left shoulder. Shoulder away from the ear, and then just gently turn at the chin. So once more, you're looking down towards that left knee. Ooh, and I can feel a delicious stretch there. And then just keeping the chin angled towards us, so you're keeping looking down towards your left knee, but just lift the chin away from your chest a little bit. Oh, that big rope-like muscle in the neck should be getting quite a deep stretch there. Gosh, I can feel it on that side. And then very gently, let's just bring the chin back down towards your chest, letting go of that wrist. And you might just want to have a little swing of the head from side to side, very slowly. Whoa, I could feel that on the side of my neck. A little shimmy, shimmy. And then we'll try that on the other side. So the left arm goes up towards the ceiling. And you might, again, just bring your fingertips onto your shoulder. You might be able to bring your fingertips a little further down the back. And again, this little upward strokes, it's almost the same direction as the muscle fibers. So you're trying to point that left elbow up towards the ceiling. And I can feel that this one feels much more amenable to stretch. So you might just stay here, supporting underneath. You might take that little lean forwards and that right arm reaches back, and we see if you can catch hold of fingertips. If you can't get hold of your fingertips, you might just be able to take hold of your t-shirt and stretch your t-shirt apart. But again, if that's a little bit too much tonight, hand just supporting there. And again, if you've got that bind, we try and point the elbows in opposite directions, north and south, head lifted, chin parallel to the floor. For some people, this is relatively easy. Sometimes it's arm length. It's got nothing to do with flexibility. It's just configuration of arms. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly, if you've got that bind, just let go really gently. And then we reach that left arm in front of you. And drawing the arm across the body again, it might be just above the elbow or below the elbow. Drop the shoulder and try and keep that left arm relatively straight. And again, the temptation is the body wants to follow it. So see if you can just keep that stretch in the shoulder rather than making it a twist by keeping the chest square. Lovely. And then we'll release. Last one, we'll take the hand behind you, catching hold of the wrist. So this time we bring that hand towards your right waist and drop right ear towards right shoulder. And then we drop the gaze. So the chin is just kind of level with your right breast there. So you're looking down towards your right knee. Again, just drawing the weight evenly across your sit bones as you just keep the gaze down, but just lift the chin a little bit. So you're kind of still angled over towards that right side. So obviously the gaze is lifted a little bit now, but we're keeping the chin just kind of more or less over that right breast. Lovely. And very slowly again, you might feel that stretch. You might just hold there for a breath or two more. One side invariably feels tighter. This side doesn't feel quite as tight as the other on me. And then letting go. Roll the chin down to your chest and just let go of the wrist. Let's just place the hands on the knees and do a couple of shoulder rolls there. Oh, so anyone that was struggling with shoulders, I hope that's given you a little bit of release there, or at least an awareness. Sometimes we don't know we're holding tension, and then suddenly it's like, oh yeah, I need to do a little bit more. Beautiful. Let's come over onto all fours. So you can always pad up your knees or your shins. I was reading today, if you've got a bad knee, sometimes putting padding under your shin rather than the knee itself helps. So you could have a little play with that. That was something I learned today. So hands under shoulders, knees underneath your hips. You can always give the hands a little shake, waken them up and enliven through the hands. Flattening the feet, pushing into the hands, so all of that good work across the shoulders we've just done isn't forgotten. We'll do a couple of rounds of cat-cow. So gently we drop the belly, tuck the tailbone up, bring the gaze forwards, and then rounding the back. So we know this move all so well. So just close the eyes and literally roll with the breath. Oh, I should feel again. Really nice, shoulders tight. Take the hands a little wider apart. See if that allows you to have a little bit more space to open through the chest. And you whisper with my hands wider apart, I can really spread my shoulder blades. And again, if your shoulders are tight, check that your shoulders stay above your wrists, particularly as you round the back. We tend to shift the weight back a little bit. So to maximize that stretch, try and keep the shoulders above the wrists. Let's do one more. No more talking now, Helen. Just move. Come into that nice flat back. Bring the hands onto the shoulders if you had them wide. Let's walk the knees a little wider apart, as wide as feels comfortable for you. Big toes point towards one another. We'll sit back towards the heels, and you can always, again, pop that bottom on a cushion if your bottom doesn't quite touch the heels. And take the arms forwards, but try taking the elbows out to the side there a little bit. You might even just rest your head on your hands. So you're increasing that sense of space across the upper back. Even if you can extend the arms, just try that for a moment and just see if that just increases that sense of space across the back. Let's take a couple of breaths there. I'm lifting my head a little bit, so I hope you can hear me a bit more clearly. But you'll be resting your head on your hands on the floor. Elbows a little wider apart there. Breathing into that space between the shoulder blades. And then from there, let's just extend the arms out in front of you. Again, just a little one for the shoulders. So keeping the right arm where it is. Let's just thread the left arm underneath for that nice soft version of thread needle. So turning to look underneath your right armpit. Laying the head down and taking a little lean into that left shoulder blade there. Shifting the body weight slightly to the left. Breathing some space. It's quite a gentle stretch. You might even feel it in your hip, your groin, as well as the shoulder there. And then just pushing into that right hand so you can slide that left arm back. So this time the left arm stays extended, right arm feeds through, turning the head so you're looking under the left armpit, stretching those right fingertips away from you. Just make sure that your fingertips are level with your shoulder. The arm has gone out in that nice straight line. So we're, again, making the most of that sense of space and stretch. Little easy breaths there. Lovely. And then pressing into the left hand so you can stretch that right arm in front of you. Let's just walk the hands back towards you so you can point both knees forwards. And this time, again, stretching the arms out in front of you. So knees are pointing forwards, coming into that long extension with the arms, coming up onto your fingertips. So your elbows, armpits are open and lifted. Beautiful. And breathing some space now into the sides of the body, really drawing the hips back towards your heels. And then flattening the palms. As you inhale, come all the way onto all fours. A little moving flow. Exhale, lower yourself down very tenderly, the thighs, the belly and the chest. And then inhale, push into your hands, all the way back onto fours, and exhale back into that child pose. Lovely. So a couple more, just to really tune in with the breath. If you don't want to come all the way down, you can just add a little dip, coming maybe halfway down before you shift the weight back into your heels or come all the way down to the floor. Let's just do that once more. So inhaling all the way up, exhaling all the way down, or just halfway down, taking that little dip if you wish. Then inhaling, pushing the floor away. And then we'll end up in that child pose, hips to heels. Before sliding yourself up, sliding shoulders above your wrists, hands under shoulders, back onto fours. So just shifting the weight into that left knee, and we'll take the right leg up towards the ceiling. So toes point up towards the ceiling, knee roughly level with the hip, and just make sure you've not opened that right hip. So knee just extended away from you. Beautiful. Take an inhale there. And as you exhale, tiger. So we round nose to knee, pushing into the hands. So again, stretching between the shoulder blades. Inhale, we look forwards as you take the toes up. I stretch for the front of the hip. And exhale, rounding on it. Beautiful. Let's do that a couple more times. So really trying to keep that knee kind of level with the hip, so we're not turning that knee open to the side. So we're getting a stretch to the front of the hip. Beautiful. So this next time, let's take the toes up towards the ceiling. And then just straighten the leg out. So you, again, have got the knee roughly level with the hip, toes down. And let's extend opposite arm. Lovely. So left arm extended. Let's take that out onto the diagonal. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, arm and leg point forwards and back. Lovely. Inhaling out on the diagonal. So a little bit through the core. Exhale forwards and back. Lovely. Just once more. This time as you come forwards and back with the arm and the leg, you can either stay there or bend the knee once more, toes point up towards the ceiling. Turning that left palm away from you, sweeping the arm back, shoulder away from ear. You might need to bring your heel towards your bottom. See if you can catch the foot. And then you push foot into hand, pushing the shin away from you. So you're opening up through the shoulder and taking the gaze forwards rather than letting the head drop. Lovely. Beautiful. And then if that's not for you, you can just bring the hand down and keep the toes pointed up towards the ceiling. And then we'll all bring the hand down, bring the knee down. You can take a child pose, you can have a little swizzle out through the wrists there. Or if you want to take the pressure off the knees, join me in the one and only downward dog, stretching the hips up and back, a shake of the head, a walk out through the feet. Lovely. And then we'll come back down onto all fours when you're ready. I'll come round to turn around. And again, you can always turn the wrists if that is a little bit wrist heavy, that one, isn't it? So feel free to have a little turn out through the wrists. So once more, hands on the shoulders, knees on the hips. This time it's the left leg we lift. So toes point up towards the ceiling. So again, just making sure that you're not turning that hip out to the side. Take an inhale. And that tiger, exhale, rounding on in, nose to knee. Stretching between the shoulder blades. Let's do that 3 more times. So toes lift, a nice stretch and opening through the hip, but we're not forgetting what's going on in the shoulders. Lovely. Just once more. I've lost count. Let's do one more. Can't even count to 3. That's not a good start, is it? Oh dear. I should be in charge of government statistics. I didn't say that. Let's take the toes up towards the ceiling. Stretch the leg out behind you. Toes point down towards the floor. Firm up through the belly, and then maybe it's that right arm. One side might be a little bit more wibbly wobbly than the other. Lovely. As you inhale, let's take the arm and the leg out on the diagonal. And as you exhale, let's point them forwards and back. Lovely. A couple more times. I promise I'll keep count this time. Lovely. So try and keep that upper arm alongside the ear. Up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. So we'll come back through center. You can stay there. You can bring the hand down and just bend the knee and point the toes up towards the ceiling. Or combine the two, bending the knee, reaching back with that right hand. You might need to bend the knee to find your foot or just the back of your trousers there. And then again, we push the foot into the hand so you feel that the chest lifts. Lovely. We finish stretch across the front of the hip, but again, if that's too much, do you bring the hand down and just point the toes up towards the ceiling there. Beautiful. And then slowly, slowly, let's bring the hands back down, the knee back down. Just sit back on your heels for a moment and give the wrists a little bit of a twizzle. Yeah, sorry about that. That was the only thing with that one. It's a little bit wrist heavy. So we're going to come up into standing kneeling now. So if anyone has any issues with their knees, you can always pad up or just fold your mat over. So you've got a little bit of extra padding as you just come up onto your knees. Knees a little bit apart there. I like to keep them just a little bit less than hip width apart. and we'll tuck the toes under. Or keep the feet flat, Coralie, if that's a little bit too much for your toes. So just with the toes tucked under, we can push into the balls of the feet, so we're getting stretch into the fascia of the feet. It also helps stabilize us. Beautiful. So shoulders in line with the hips. Take the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. And then we'll swing the hands behind to rest them on the lower back. Again, roll the shoulders back, lift up through the chest. And imagine you're pushing the hips gently forwards and begin to lift and lengthen through the belly. So you feel the chest begin to lift, coming into a version of camel pose. Lovely. So you're gently drawing the hands down as though you want to lengthen out through the low back. Lovely. See, I'm not leaning back there and trying to keep my hips above my knees. Beautiful. Then very gently, chin to chest. Flatten the feet. Sit back towards your heels. And then sliding the arms forwards, come into a child pose slowly, just for a little counter pose. Onto that little back bend. So you can stay in that child pose, or even come into that little camel variation again. Option to come into full camel. If you've never done full camel before, I suggest you stick with the one that we've just done. So again, we come up into standing kneeling, tuck the toes under. If you want to have a little play, you can start to have a little twist, and so you might be just reaching back and touching the heel from side to side. So that's a little kind of preparation for full camel pose. So again, being really mindful. And then we'll come back to center, and either again, hands just nestle into your low back there. So you want to stretch your buttocks down, lengthen out through the low back as you stretch up through the belly, lift up through the chest. And if anyone is comfortable and familiar with camel, you reach back, rest your hands on your heels. You've got to kind of lean back to get there, but then you need to push your hips forwards. So your hips are in line with your knees. It took me a long, long time to like this pose. So if you're not familiar with the full version of it, I suggest you stay with body upright, hands on the low back. Beautiful. Some of you might like to drop your head back. I don't like that, but go for it if that's for you. Just take one more breath there. If you're with me in full camel, chin to chest, one hand on the low back and then the other. Just pause there for a moment. That's a big, deep back bend. So keeping the toes tucked under this time, bring the hands down and we'll come into a counter pose of puppy. So we keep our hips above our knees, walking your hands out on the diagonal and just allow your chest to melt down. So we're just allowing the back to gently stretch out. Your forehead might touch the floor. Some of you more open across the upper back might bring your chin to the mat and allow your chest to sink down. So sometimes that can feel a little bit like you're suffocating. So forehead, or even just walking the hips back a little bit and coming to a nice long child pose. We'll ease out through the back. Lovely. And then again, when you're ready, walking your hands back towards you. I'm just going to come round and face you. So I'm going to turn to the long edge of my mat. You might well want to do the same. So we're going to take the right leg out to the right, turning the toes out in the diagonal. Now I did say in the invite you might want 2 cans of beans or yoga blocks if you've got them. They're certainly not compulsory, but I'll show you what you can do with them if you have brought them with you. So I'm going to have one of my cans of beans on my yoga block just on the inside of the foot and the other one just by my knee there. So let's take the arms out nice and wide. So we're almost in a warrior 2 position there. And then forearm to thigh. We'll take that left arm up and over in a nice stretch out through the side body. Lovely. And then we'll come all the way back through center. And this time the left hand reaches down and the right arm reaches up. Lovely. So inhaling there. This time as you exhale, you might bring the hand down to your block or even the floor for a deeper stretch, or just forearm to thigh. Lovely. Inhale through center. And as you exhale, you might just reach that hand down towards your knee. You might, some of you bring your hand onto your block or your can of beans. Beautiful. Come all the way back through center. And then we'll extend that right leg, turning the toes towards the front of the room there. Inhale. Exhale, so we're coming into a gate pose now. So this time with that leg straight, trying to keep the hips pushed gently forwards. Inhale through center. And this time, fingertips come down either to the floor or to your block, or maybe just reach the hand down the thigh. Lovely. Once more, inhale, so we use those obliques to come back through center. Exhale as you take that and stretch over your right leg. Inhale through center. And as you exhale, left hand, just reaching down the thigh, maybe to your block, or maybe to the floor. Lovely. Let's come all the way back through center. I'm going to move some of my toys out of the way. Arms out, shoulder height. We take a twist to the right. And then we'll lean forwards. Bring your left hand down to the floor. And then shift the weight forward so your shoulder is above your wrists. And turning the chest, reaching that right arm up towards the ceiling so the shoulders are stacked one on top of the other. You can take the gaze up, or if the neck is tight, take the gaze down. Push the floor away so we've got a nice energy through that supporting arm. Beautiful. And then we'll bring both hands down to the floor and bring both knees together. Beautiful. And then rising up so you can see the fun you can have with cans of beans or condiments of choice. This time we take the left leg out. So again, if you've got a can or a block, you might not need it, but you can have one on the inside of the foot and the other one just level with the knee. So we'll start that little warrior two pose, stretching the arms out nice and wide, dropping the shoulders away from the ears as you inhale. Exhale, we'll take the forearm to the thigh, and we get that nice stretch, reaching overhead. And then inhaling back through center, and exhale, right arm reaches down, just fingertips pointing towards the floor, and we take that top arm overhead, lovely. Inhaling through center. And this time as you exhale, you might bring your hand down to the floor or to your block. Lovely, for a little deeper stretch. Inhale through center. And as you exhale again and reach back down, you might bring your hand again, just rest on the thigh, or fingertips to floor, or to your block there. Again, depends on how we feel, how long our arms are. Let's come back through center. So this time, let's stretch the left leg out, turning the toes forwards, big toe roughly level with that right knee. Take an inhale there. And as you exhale, let's come into that gate pose over to the left. Lovely, hips push forwards, inhale through center. Exhale again, just reversing that. So again, you just might have the hand on the thigh or reaching down towards your block or fingertips on the floor. Inhale through center, last time. So we use again those oblique muscles to draw us up last time. Lovely, inhale through center. And last time. Again, fingertips might reach the floor as you take that top arm overhead. Beautiful, coming up through center. A little bit of effort there. This time we take that twist to the left. We reach forward so the right hand comes down to the floor. Shift the weight forward so shoulder is above wrist, and we take that little twist. So stacking the shoulders, opening through the chest. Gaze might be up or down, whatever works for you today. Beautiful. And slowly, slowly, let's bring the hands down. Let's bring the knees together, sitting back on your heels and just dropping the bottom to one side. Extend the legs out in front of you and give them a little bit of a shake. Beautiful. Just going to come into a little twist now. So right knee comes in towards chest. And we'll keep the hands just interlaced around the knee, and we'll keep the foot on the inside of that extended leg, about a fist's distance between your foot and your thigh, a little bit of space. So shoulders away from ears, using the hands there just to draw the spine nice and upright. And we'll take a gentle twist to the right. Lovely. And if that feels okay, the head is just following that back shoulder, and maybe that right hand comes back behind you, close to your bottom. Again, if you've got a block or something behind you, you can prop yourself up on it if you tend to lean back a little bit to find the floor. You can even scoop that knee in with your opposite elbow, but only if that means that you've not had to lift your bottom from the floor and you've not had to lean forward. So if you've had to compromise the twist, much better to keep your hand on the knee and feel that length through the spine, that rotation through the midsection. Lovely. Very nice and tall as you inhale, and finding maybe a little bit more space as you exhale. Slowly, slowly come back through center. And before we do the other side, we'll bring the soles of the feet together into Baddha Konasana. So bring the heels, again, it will depend on hip flexibility as to how close your heels are towards you. You might be able to rest your elbows on your knees and just gently press your knees down towards the floor. Lovely. And you might just want to just bring your hands wherever they fall. They might be on your shins, around your ankles. Some of you might be able to reach your feet. I like to keep hold of my ankles there. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, we lean the body forward. So we're leading with the chest and the chin. So we're keeping the spine nice and tall. And some of you might like to try this variation of reaching your arms out in front of you and allowing your chin to drop down towards your chest. Keep dropping the knees out to the side. If that doesn't work for you, just keep your hands resting on your knees or your thighs. Lovely. And walking the hands back towards you, bringing the hands to your outer knees. So you can just bring the knees together. Extend out through the legs. A little bit of distance then as you bring that left heel in towards your bottom. Again, about a fist distance between your foot and your inner thigh. Hands around the knees. You can lift up nice and tall. And a gentle twist turning to the left. You might just stay there tonight, just using that hand to keep the body upright. Or releasing left hand behind you. Hand snuggled in quite close towards your bottom so you can roll the shoulder open, chest open. And maybe just leaning forward so you can find your little scoop with your right elbow, but then make sure that you can lift your chest without lifting your bottom from the floor. Stretching out through that extended leg. Easy breaths there. Lovely. Slowly, slowly come all the way back through center. Extending both legs this time. Pop a little bend in the knees. Taking the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Take a nice in breath. And as you exhale, allow the body just to yield forwards over the legs. You might have the hands resting alongside the thighs or the shins, or some of you might be able to cup your toes, hands around your feet, and draw the body gently forwards. But again, think about just easing the body, no forcing, no pulling. Just take a couple of easy breaths there. Forward fold is always nice at the end of the practice. One, the hamstrings tend to be a little bit warmer, but again, that sense of just bringing ourselves back to ourselves, slowing the practice down, turning the spotlight a little bit more inward now. Lovely. And when you're ready, just walking the hands back towards you so you can rebuild the spine. And bring yourself back onto your mat so you can walk your heels back in towards you and ease your way down onto your backs. And you might just want to gather the knees in towards your chest. You get a little massage across your buttocks, your low back as you have a roll from side to side. And then we'll bring the feet down quite close towards your bottom, about hip width apart there. Lovely, arms down alongside you, palms up or down. And just push your hips up towards the ceiling, coming into an easy bridge pose. If you've got your palms down, make sure that you're not perforating the mat with your fingertips. Those of you a bit more open across your back and your shoulders might be able to tuck your shoulders underneath you so you can interlace the hands and just puff the chest up towards your chin. Doing a nice stretch there. If that doesn't work for you, keep the hands alongside you. It's a strong pose. Those of you who don't like bridge pose, again, option to stay down on your back, knees to chest. You're getting a bit more benign stretch across the back. If you're up in that bridge with the hands interlace, maybe just take one more breath there. Then lifting up onto your tiptoes so you can release the hands alongside you. And you might want to keep your heels lifted as you wheel the spine down. Hands just like stabilizers to help ease you down. Beautiful. And then stretch out one leg, then the other. Take the arms back into that lovely full body extension. Lovely stretch. And then if you've got time to just to stay for a few minutes of relaxation, Just finding a position that works for you for that. So you might just want to bring the arms down alongside you. You can keep them above the head. You can bring the soles of the feet together and the knees wide if that works for you in reclined butterfly. But our more traditional pose for Shavasana is the feet about hip width apart, the toes out, heels in. You might again want to do that little shoulder roll that we did at the beginning a couple of times to nestle the shoulders down the back. And then closing the eyes. And then just give yourself a moment just to check in with yourself. You might notice any existing areas that are still a bit tense. You've got that sense of holding something somewhere. And just allow that breath to bring a softening to those areas. Breathing in, just allowing that sense of awareness, a sense of vividness of this moment, exactly as it is. And then as you breathe out, letting go, breathing out the week, releasing into this space as it is. And just for the next few breaths, just playing with that balance of being aware and awake as you inhale. And then released and relaxed as you exhale. That sense of balanced awareness of your body and your breath. And bringing your awareness a little bit more closely to your breath now, just as we did at the beginning. That sense of being aware of the nourishment that each breath brings. Nourishing our body, our minds, bringing oxygen into the body, sustaining us. You might also want to consider just what you might be needing in this moment, in life in general. Love, strength, calm, acceptance. Breathing in whatever it is that's nourishing for you and what you're needing today. And breathing out, just letting go, releasing, letting things be. Breathing in whatever you need tonight. And breathing out whatever is superfluous to need at this moment in time, letting it go. And then just continue to settle into that natural soothing rhythm of your breath, that rhythm that's been there since you were born. Breathing in love, strength, calm, ease. Breathing out, relaxing, releasing whatever that isn't needed. Letting go. you're ready, just bring your hands onto your heart, one hand resting on top of the other, it really doesn't matter which. And just have a little massage there, a little circle of the hands. Just really slowly, a circle of the hands around the chest, around your heart space there. Just feeling the gentle touch of your hands there, the warmth of your hands, that sense of connectedness. As you relax the hands down alongside you, palms up towards the ceiling, you feel that memory of warmth and of touch in your heart. Beginning to wiggle the fingers, maybe wiggling the feet, maybe rolling the head gently side to side. And if you want to, just explore that full body stretch, just very gently, taking the arms back above the head, extending the legs. Breathing into that space behind you and above you. And then we'll all meet, taking your time to give your knees a gentle squeeze, maybe a hug, maybe some movement, or simply just lingering with your knees hugged in towards your chest. And then just notice where there's space to the left or to the right of you, just rolling into that space and just stay there for a breath or two. Lying on one side, knees to chest. And then when you're ready, taking your time, coming to that comfortable seat. And we'll take that little mudra, that Ghana mudra, so the back of the hands are resting on the thighs or on your knees, and you connect your thumb and your first finger very gently. Imagine again that feather or piece of silk between your fingertips. Allow the shoulders to soften, a sense of connectedness with ourselves, with each other, albeit remotely. Softening the eyes or closing them completely. Just pause there just for a moment. And before we rush back to whatever that is calling upon our attention for the rest of the evening, the rest of the weekend. Just again, giving yourself permission to allow this moment to be exactly as it is, and allowing ourselves to be exactly as we are. And bringing the hands just into Anjali Mudra this time, the hands together at the heart. Lifting breastbone to meet your thumbs, so you feel a little bit of lifting and opening there through the chest. Again, offering acknowledgement to one another for coming together, albeit remotely, to share a practice. Namaste. Thank you. Unmute everybody.